Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm having a look at the One More ColorBuds 2 true wireless earbuds. They do come in at around $80, euros or pounds, which means that they have to face a fierce competition, but as you will see by the end of this review, they can easily be considered a worthy contender in this price range. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and let's see the details one by one. But before we get into the design of the ColorBuds 2, I have to tell you that I got the earbuds from One More for this review, but no money changed hands and nobody had any influence on what I'm going to tell you about the product, so as always, all you get is my unfiltered and honest opinion. And to be completely transparent, I also have to share with you the fact that the first sample I got had some charging related and power issues, so I had to get a second pair to finish this review, and that one works flawlessly. So on to the buds themselves. I like how compact and lightweight these guys are. The buds weigh in at around 4.8 grams each, and I found wearing them extremely comfortable for even longer periods of time. In my ears, the fit was kind of perfect and absolutely secure enough for any workouts, including running. You get 4 sets of silicone ear tips in the box, and instead of the usual IPX4, you get a more reassuring IPX5 rating here, which means a slightly higher level of protection against sweat and water. So the buds can function pretty well as sport earbuds, and there is the solid build quality too, with this non-slippery matte finish all around the earbuds, except for their touch controls on the outside, which have this metallic dark grey, pearly white or golden color, depending on which of these available colors you end up buying. So the buds look cool and they fit snugly in my ears. The case is quite compact and pocket friendly, and it's relatively well built. Interestingly enough, the lid and the hinge feel much sturdier on the white case than it's on the black one. Now, this black one was the first sample I got, and it could be from an earlier batch, and maybe that's why I experienced some issues with it, including the loose lid. But the newer case, the white one, is much better in that respect, and it can easily deliver a better than average build quality. I love the small form factor, and the case looks cool, especially in this dark metallic grey color, which is my personal favorite. And there are 2 more features that are worth mentioning. First, the non-slippery rubber coating at the bottom of the case, and second, the support of the Qi wireless charging standard, which is still not a must-have or expected feature for the money. Of course, the class leaders, such as the Soundcore Life P3 or the Earfun Air Pro 2, both can offer wireless charging, so One More had no choice but to put it in theirs too in order to keep up with the competition. But these 2 cases I just mentioned are both bigger and also more plasticky and plain looking in my opinion. The maximum total playtime you can get out of the One More case and the buds together is 18 hours, and the earbuds themselves can last up to 6 hours. And that's with ANC turned on, and you cannot really turn ANC off on the buds at all. The only time the ANC is actually turned off is when you use either of the buds on its own, and only in that case you can achieve the advertised 8 hours of playtime with one charge and 24 hours in total. It's quite a bit less than the 30+ hours that both the Earfun and the Soundcore can offer, so that's where probably the size difference of those cases come into play. However, the single charge playtime with ANC turned on is roughly the same across the board, as all 3 buds can last up to around 6 hours. The One More ColorBuds 2 can also be used for 2 hours after 15 minutes of quick charging inside the case. In terms of connection, we are dealing with Bluetooth version 5.2 here, and we get not only the regular SBC and AAC codecs, but the more advanced aptX adaptive codec as well, which is missing from both the Life P3 and the Air Pro 2. Pairing happens in an instant, connection is rock solid, lag is a non-issue with videos, and games are pretty well playable too. Of course, single bud mode is supported, but we don't get multi-point use. And even though the Bluetooth connection itself is solid, phone call quality is below average in my opinion. My voice sounds a bit muffled as it lacks some clarity, even in a quiet environment, and there is also this noise you can hear which sounds like some sort of an interference. And I got this in both samples, even though the first one was much worse in that regard. Turning on some ambient chatter can show you that at least the CVC 8.0 noise cancellation technology does a good job with keeping the background noise at bay, but the intelligibility of my voice is still not the greatest.
And to put this performance into some perspective, here is a quick sample from the Soundcore Life P3 with background noise on. And also here is what the microphone sounds like on the Earfun Air Pro 2 in the same scenario.
Onto the controls, we can use the touch-sensitive interface on each bud to control play, pause, tracks, volume, the voice assistant, and the 2 ambient modes. Of course, you can manage your phone calls too, but that goes without saying. The touchpads react quickly to any tapping action and they work accurately too. But as far as the functionality of the controls goes, there are some limitations as not all of the functions are available at the same time. In the One More smartphone app you can remap the double click and the triple click actions, but that's it. No single tap at all, and the long press is reserved for switching between ambient modes. But to somewhat compensate for the lack of functionality of the touch controls, there are in-ear sensors on the buds, which means that we get autoplay pause. And the smart playback, as One More calls it, is customizable in the app too. And you can find other features in the app, including software updates, how-to guides, and an ASMR feature called Soothing Sounds, which does what the name might suggest. It plays soothing sounds such as summer rain or spring water if you want to relax a little. To quickly compare, the Earfun Air Pro 2 offers full functionality on its touch controls and it comes with autoplay pause too, but it does not have a companion app. And the Soundcore Life P3 has a great app and better touch controls, but it does not have in-ear sensors for autoplay pause. But the two most important features of the One More ColorBuds 2, which you can find in the app, are the active noise cancellation and the Sound ID. We will talk about the Sound ID in details in a second, but let's discuss the active noise cancellation first. So the ANC has two modes. There is ANC on and pass-through. No more settings, no more options, you cannot even turn the ANC off at all. The pass-through mode sounds rather natural and it's not too intense with only a tiny bit of a hiss, so that's good. But I have to say that the ANC performance of the buds is kind of mediocre. It doesn't do much in terms of taming low-frequency rumbles or high-pitch noises either. So even though I got great passive noise isolation due to their snug fit in my ears, the ANC is a bit disappointing. Especially when compared to the Life P3 or the Air Pro 2, which are two of the best noise cancelling performers under $100. There is one positive about the ANC on the ColorBuds 2, and that's that there is no noticeable jump in sound quality between the two ambient modes. And sound quality, along with the Sound ID technology, is the key selling point of the One More ColorBuds 2, in my opinion. Using the Sound ID feature, which was developed by Sonarworks, you can personalize the sound of your earbuds. All you have to do is run a series of A/B tests and choose between two different sound signatures while the same song is being looped. And based on your preferences, the algorithm can create a custom sound profile for you. But even the default sound of the 7mm dynamic drivers is quite enjoyable and, well, dynamic already. The buds don't go crazy loud and the bass extension is not the best I've heard, but the whole frequency range feels kind of balanced. There is enough kick in the bass, we get prominent enough vocals and detailed highs with quite a wide and spacious soundstage. With Sound ID enabled, I got a bit more lively sound with a touch more bass and treble. I also got a different soundstage, not necessarily a better one, but a different one. Imaging got also more focused and tight. But that's just me, and the point of having Sound ID is to make changes to the default sound so it suits your hearing and your musical taste better. And you can keep recalibrating the buds until you are happy with what you hear, and you can of course disable Sound ID altogether. There are several different songs you can choose from in the app to run the Sound ID test, and based on which one you use, the results will vary, or at least they did in my case. With the electronic sample song I got more bass and a bit more highs, while with an acoustic sample with vocals in it, I got slightly less bass and a more open mid-range. Exactly as I prefer to listen to actual songs from different genres in real life. That's why I would love to see at least two custom profiles which you could switch between depending on what you listen to, but unfortunately you can only save one Sound ID profile on the ColorBuds 2. But even that one is a lot more than the zero customization you can do with the Earfun Air Pro 2 due to the lack of an app. And while the Air Pro 2's default sound is more bass heavy and intense, I prefer the more balanced approach of the One More buds. The Life P3 can literally kick the door in with its overpowered and boomy bass, and there are quite a few EQ presets and custom options in the Soundcore app, so if you want to play around with their sound, you get that option too. My favorite, however, is the one more with its default sound for acoustic music and the Sound ID profile which I tuned for electronic songs. So I got the two profiles I'm happy with after all. And I'm quite happy with the One More ColorBuds 2 as a whole too. The active noise cancelling might be a little bit underwhelming and the phone call quality is far from being the best either, but I believe they got everything else right. The fit and comfort of the buds are great in my ears, and so is the passive noise isolation. We also get good build quality, an IPX5 rating, wireless charging, Bluetooth 5.2 with aptX adaptive and low latency. The default sound is neutral enough and quite enjoyable, which is a good starting point for the Sound ID tech to bring it even closer to your liking. So I consider the ColorBuds 2 a top contender in the space of affordable earbuds, but I spoiled that for you already in the intro, I'm afraid. But let me know what you think about the One More ColorBuds 2 in the comments down below. Also, feel free to ask away if you have any questions. Please do not forget to subscribe if you didn't already, and also give this video a thumbs up, but only if you actually liked it. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.